So this is where all the this is anatomical parts, landmarks, where the heart is situated, where is the sternum, where is the liver, where is the sternum and lung, so that while giving chest compression, you should have this anatomical landmarks in mind so that you don't commit mistakes. After 30 seconds of the chest compression and ventilation, if heart rate is less than 60, discontinue compression. More than 60 beat per minute, discontinue compression. If it is still less than 60, intubate if not already done and give epinephrine. What I mean to say, if the heart rate improves more than 100, give up both ventilation, chest compression rate. If it is less than 60, more than 60, you continue ventilation but don't give chest compression. If it is below 60, continue both chest compression and ventilation. And if the procedure is required for a longer period, you consider intubating the baby with the endotracheal tube. Laryngoscope, there are two blades. Laryngoscope is same, but the blades are two types. 0 for newborn, 1 for term baby, a larger one. Suction equipment. While suctioning the baby, negative pressure should not exceed more than 100 millimeter of Hg. Catheter size, ET2 catheter 3.2.5, 3, 3.54. Stabilize the baby's head, pre-oxygen before attempting intubation. Free flow oxygen should be administered throughout the procedure. And depending upon the weight, the length, the depth of the insertion to be decided. For a 1 kg, 7 centimeter is pushed inside. For 2 kg, 8 centimeter. For 3 kg, 9 centimeter. And for 4 kg, 10 centimeter. The size decided is, if the baby is below 1 kg, 2.5 size endotracheal tube is selected. If it is the weight between 1 kg to 2 kg, 3, and 2 to 3, 3.5, and above 3, 3.5 to 4. So these are the endotracheal tube of different size. How to hold the laryngoscope. Landmark present during intubation. These are all the procedure. Okay. This is very important. Once you initiate intubation procedure, what you should do? First, you see that the baby condition is fully all right. What I mean to say is, you with the bag and mask ventilation with the 100% oxygen, you make sure that there is a good ventilation is going on, the color is pink, heart rate is above 100. Once you ensure these 3 parameters, then you make an attempt to intubate. Otherwise, if the child is already in a compromised state, not having heart rate more than 100, and the baby is not delivering the ventilation required, then when you make an attempt, you will worsen the situation and the baby will die. And with this pre-intubation preparation, the time fixed to intubate the baby to put the ventricular tube, the maximum time you can take is 20 seconds. If you exceed more than 20 seconds, stop the procedure, go back to bag and mask ventilation with 100% oxygen, stabilize the baby, then make a second attempt. There is one more crude way of assessing the situation is when you start doing this procedure of intubation, you also hold the breath. When you are doing this procedure, when you can't hold breath anymore, you stop the procedure. That means the babies also can't tolerate that. This is a very crude way, but thing is with the clock, okay, stopwatch. So if it goes more than 20 seconds, you go back to bag and mask procedure, stabilize the baby, then repeat the attempt. A rise in chest with each breath makes your good ventilation. That is the endotracheal tube is in right place. Breath sounds over both the fields heard normally, and no gastric distension with ventilation, and vapor condensing on the inside of the tube during exhalation. If there are machines like carbon dioxide detectors, like calorimetric devices and capnographs, so it is easy to make sure that the endotracheal tube is in right place. Is that tip in the right location within the trachea? How to make sure? Take an X-ray. There, it will show you here, and here it is showing on the right side in the trachea. So there is the air enters only to the right lung, not to the left lung, and it is collapsed. Chances of pneumothorax are high here. And how much to be pushed the endotracheal depth, endotracheal tube into the trachea. So if it is 1 kg, 7 centimeter, 2 kg, 8 centimeter, 3 kg, 9 centimeter, 4 kg, 10 centimeter. So now coming to the last stage of the algorithm, pairing. You are giving chest compression after you started ventilation, but heart rate is not rising up more than 60, or it is in the range of 60 to 80 only. Then that is the time you have to consider giving epinephrine. How much you want? That is zero point 0.1 to 0.3 ml per kg, 1 in 10,000 dilution of epinephrine. And if already endotracheal tube is being placed, then you push that into the endotracheal tube directly, or you give it IV through the umbilical vein. Even for this, if there is no response, then you have to go for pushing the fluid resuscitation, 10 ml per kg body weight of normal saline or ringer lactate. You have to push slowly over a period of 5 to 10 minutes. Intravenously through umbilical vein. So, in the resuscitation program, you have seen first is temperature, drying, stimulus, no response to stimulus, positive pressure ventilation bag and mask, and even for that no response, then you have to go for chest compression. Even for that no response, then you have to go for epinephrine. No response, you have to go for fluid resuscitation. in that fashion. Everything you have to decide within 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, except first 1 minute. Rest all, you have to evaluate only, you have to take 60 seconds. So this is how umbilical vein catheterization is done. And naloxone, if the mother has been given sedatives like morphine. Meconium suctioning. In a baby born through meconium and is depressed, you have to give suction. Intubation and suctioning as necessary until meconium is recovered or until the baby's heart rate indicates that positive pressure is needed. If attempted intubation is prolonged and unsuccessful, bag and mask ventilation should be considered, particularly if there is a persistent bradycardia. Do not apply suction for longer than 3 to 5 seconds as you withdraw the tube. If no meconium is recovered, do not repeat the procedure, proceed with the resuscitation. If the baby is not depressed and is active, routine care, don't attempt for intubation. In preterm babies, we expect certain problems. What are those problems? And in these babies, more likely to have difficulty with this transition, to change from postnatal, intranatal, from intrauterine life to extrauterine life. During this transition period, they may not adapt well immediately. And there may be poor respiratory rate because of immature brain. Not able to breathe adequately because of their weak muscles. And in addition, in a preterm baby, there may be less surfactant available for the adequate opening of the alveoli. They lose more heat compared to a term baby. Hypothermia occurs in them very quickly in them. And because it is an immature, its immunity, that mechanism is also at a lower area. They are prone for more infection. And the capillaries are very fragile, especially in the brain. And during this transition period, they may develop, because of the stress, intraventricular hemorrhage. And when we give oxygen, oxygen itself can produce toxicity, retinopathy can occur, and other organs damage can also occur, and more chances of pneumothorax. In an emergency, a pneumothorax can be detected by transillumination and just insert a needle, so that will take care of pneumothorax. You can see the pneumothorax happening here on the right side. So the lung is collapsed, and you can see the dark shadow in the lungs, without any bronchoalveolar markings. That means that is the air, the pleural. Diaphragmatic hernia is diagnosed when there is a scabbard abdomen in a baby with respiratory distress. Here, immediately intubate the trachea and insert a orogastric tube. And this is the last slide of my presentation. Are there situations in which non-initiation of resuscitation is reasonable? Yes. If the baby is less than 23 weeks, or if the weight is less than 400 grams, you can take a decision not to start a resuscitation. If the baby has anencephaly or trisomy 13 or 18, or when it has got major congenital anomalies, And another important thing is may be appropriate after 15 minutes of absent heart rate in spite of complete and adequate resuscitation efforts. We are giving resuscitation, adequate resuscitation with good effort, but there is no heartbeat for a period of 15 minutes. Then you can take a decision to stop resuscitation. This is about neonatal resuscitation. In summary, what I want to say is, if we help them to initiate the breathing, in case if they need, we can reduce the mortality significantly. Birth asphyxia, in other words,